Welcome everybody. I am Marilee Burnett, your tarot reader and astrologer, back with the messages for the week of September 4th, 2023. Happy Labor Day to all of those who are watching here in the United States. It is a week of shifts and changes as we see the end of Venus retrograde, but the planet is slowly moving forward, which turns up a lot of energy as we consider all of the lessons that we've learned in the last several weeks while Venus has been retrograde. And at almost the same time, Jupiter is slowing way down to begin its retrograde, and its retrograde is much longer because it's a much larger planet and has a much slower orbit than Venus does. There's a really big, important lesson as the week kicks off, and that's where we're going to spend our time talking about today. This has been a really intriguing time as far as looking at the astrology this year, and this week is a bit of a culminating point because we have this conversation that happens between the planet Mercury, the little purple one with the antenna ears, and Jupiter. And it is a conversation that is in tension. So anytime we have tension as far as conversations go, then we need to pay attention to what the tension is about. Where is it coming from? As Jupiter is about to go retrograde, it's in the sign of Taurus. Earlier this year, Mercury also did its retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And if you've been listening to me at all and paying attention or reading any of my articles that I put out there, you've heard me talk about this. And if you haven't been, now's a great time to make sure you subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my website so that you are included when I send out my articles. So I've been talking earlier in the year about the fact that this is unique when you have two planets going retrograde in the same sign. Could be somewhat normal, but over the exact same degrees, 5 and 5 to 15, and we have the full moon lunar eclipse also at 5 degrees of Taurus. Our Taurus house, wherever you have that and wherever you have these degrees, is getting a serious work over this year. And what Jupiter's doing now is elevating that work, which makes it even more important. Jupiter is the biggest benefic planet and brings you many, many blessings. When it takes the time to slow down and go retrograde, it's really a time for counting your blessings. It's time for connecting to the things that truly matter to you and making sure that you discard anything that does not, right? In the sign of Venus ruled Taurus, this is about love. It's about money. It's about the things that we truly connect with on an emotional level. And if we are just playing safe, if we're not being true to ourselves, then you've got some big lessons between now and the end of the year, because that's how long it's going to take Jupiter to go over this same area. So I always like to think about the planets as having conversations with one another. And when you look at the fact that Mercury is in Virgo, it is retrograde, and it is going to speak with Jupiter in Taurus, also retrograde, that's a trine. It's supportive energy. But the fact that they're both retrograde makes something about the conversation a little more difficult. There's something in the past that you saw and maybe you tried to ignore, but now with the conversation that these two planets are having while in retrograde matters. There's a reason, right? Mercury's having the conversation with Jupiter about the time it spent there. This is the way I imagine the conversation going. And Jupiter has all of the details that this Mercury conversation is now giving it, right? So there's this two-way dialogue, and then what is learned, what is shared with you as a result of the conversation between these two planets is going to have an impact on the work that you're doing with this Jupiter energy from now through December 30th. I think is the last day before Jupiter turns forward again. So this is important. It is something that is going to allow you to learn and grow. Both of these planets represent learning, and Jupiter is learning about the bigger picture. Jupiter rules the 9th house. Mercury rules the 3rd, as that shows you both sides. We've got the little picture and we've got the big picture, and between the two we should be able to really fill in all of that space in between and learn what we need to from the details, but also see the bigger picture through the process instead of being stuck in a very narrow lens, focusing only on all of the facts and all of the details, which is what Mercury wants to do in Virgo. But Jupiter in Taurus is saying, but does it matter? Does it even matter? Are you even focusing on the details that actually matter? Or are you getting just lost in all of the details that you're missing the big picture? So of course the conversation is unique to you and your situation, but it's important. And if there were ever a time where you were going to sit and slow down and really try to connect the dots and see the bigger picture about whatever's going on in your life, whatever's going on around you, now is that time. And as long as you're showing up and doing the work, Jupiter is a super supportive energy. And even if you're lagging behind, Jupiter is gentle and will nudge you slowly along, but Jupiter will make the situation ridiculous at some point if you continue to ignore whatever this work is for you. But at the end of the day, once you do the work, you're getting those Taurian things that you wish and desire for, right? Love, money, beauty, all the things that Venus rules over, feeling dedicated, motivated, willing to work hard, right? All of those things are great rewards. So show up and do the work, especially over these first few days of the week, as this conversation between Mercury and Jupiter is the strongest. They're at exactly 15 degrees. They're both exactly part way through, right? It's the halfway point through the Virgo and the Taurus energy. So it's a midway point. This is a midway point in these lessons that you need to pay attention to. Now, you can go back earlier in the year and think about the information, the conversations that you were having as Mercury first entered into the sign of Taurus. So it first hit that 5-degree mark. And again, it's important. This 5 degrees where we're going to have that full moon lunar eclipse at the end of October, where there will be closure, emotional closure is coming with that full moon lunar eclipse at this 5-degree mark. And it has something to do with whatever you were working on around the 6th of April. That's when the North Node was there. That's when Mercury was there. That's when these conversations began. So now is a good time to take some time out, right? To really think through what's been trying to show up. What have you been ignoring? What are you missing? What did you maybe start to work on when Mercury went through here, beginning back in April? And what do you know now that you need to go much deeper with the information learned? maybe you're studying something. And as a result of what you learned in Mercury, you understand how much more you have to learn. And Jupiter will come through here and support you doing that learning, for example. Of course, this shows up for you however it is meant to in your chart, but that's just some ideas. But Jupiter expands on whatever it touches. So whatever your lesson was with Mercury, you're taking it to the next level. You started here, ground level with Mercury. Now Jupiter's coming in and it's bringing you to the next level, a much higher level, bigger purpose, bigger meaning. So there is a lot to learn this week. And the first few days, it's going to be the most important for you to tune in and pay attention. As we progress, again, I think this week is the next stepping stone towards eclipse season for you. First, we'll have the new moon solar eclipse on October 14th. Then, 2 weeks later, as usual, we'll have the full moon lunar eclipse, as I mentioned earlier, and the sign of Taurus and at that 5-degree mark. Now, that number 5 means change. In numerology, there is something significant that is going to change as a result of the upcoming eclipse season. That's normal, every eclipse season. But something about this one is a little bit different. And I think this week might give you a bit of a hint and an indication of, you know, what you need to be prepared to let go of. What you're a part of that is no longer aligned with you and your needs and your values, that there's something you cannot ignore this week. And as long as you're tuned in, you're going to have a better opportunity to work with the energy of the eclipse instead of having it work on you or against you and make the work really difficult. But the great news is, right, this is Taurus. This is Jupiter. This is something that if you're working on finances where you may end up with some kind of a, you know, big payout that could happen for you. The new moon solar eclipse will happen in the sign of Libra. So we're continuing to do the work on rebalancing our relationships. And as Mars continues this week to move forward through the sign of Libra, again, we're just continuing the journey and the lessons and deciding, you know, what are we passionate about? What are we willing to work on? What do we want to go after as far as our relationships are concerned? It's a long time before Mars and the South Node meet up, but when they do, again, that's going to be a moment where it's time to act. Mars motivates us. Mars is telling us to take action. So it's, again, another big week, and as the week progresses, we will end up seeing Mercury go back, have its conversation with the sun, which is Mercury Cazimi. So there is an opportunity for us to have a big aha moment again in the middle of the week where you're like, oh, I get it. I see the big picture. I understand what I'm supposed to be working on. It's not hidden from me any longer. And it happens to happen at the same time as the moon in Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is having that harsh conversation with the sun and Mercury. So I expect Wednesday there to be a little bit of fireworks going on, and for you to maybe get a chance to see something, have that aha moment. I've talked to so many of you, they're like, I can just like feel something underneath the surface. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something, or that change is coming. This may be that moment where you realize what that change is and what is needed from you, because you have to show up and you have to do the work. All right. Those are the biggest things as you're watching this, and as that Venus energy is really reaching a peak and it's changing directions. if you've been struggling to figure out, what am I passionate about? What do I love? What do I want to invest in? How am I investing in myself? Spend some time in the rest of this weekend, especially if you have the long weekend and you're off Monday too, just to answer the question. Nobody really knows the answer except you. And you've got to decide what that is for you. And if you need help, work with the tarot cards, work with me, an astrologer, but don't just have that, I just don't know. This is the time where you need to know, and you need to start committing to focusing on you and your passion and what you love, and being loving and kind to yourself, and definitely seeking out joy every single day. All right, we are going to move to the cards next. If you haven't watched this before, make sure you watch for both your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. Rising sign is what you most often recognize as actually happening in your day-to-day life. The sun and the moon cards are just as impactful, but they're more beneath the surface, emotional changes, but just as important. So make sure that you watch for all three. The other thing I'll mention before we jump into the cards is I am doing a special offer for eclipse only readings to help you prepare. We are now in the energy of the eclipse. Whatever is supposed to happen to you, for you, during the eclipse cycle is starting right now. Typically 6 weeks before the energy picks up in intensity and things start moving and changing, because by the time the eclipse gets here, you should be ready for that final eclipsed out moment, right? Sometimes it takes a building up for that to happen. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year. So everybody's story is unique, and yours can be seen in your chart, and I'd be happy to work with you on that. So be sure to click the link down below where you can sign up to get a reading done with me before we get too much farther down the road. All right, with that, let me know below too if you have any questions, if you want me to go into any more detail on anything. I'd love to answer your questions and respond to your comments, so please feel free to do so. All right, let's take a look at the cards. All right, just a reminder, you're going to watch for your sun, moon, and rising sign. And if you don't know what those are, you can create a free chart on a site like astro.com. All you need is your birth date, time, place. The time's important to get your rising sign. All right, I have shuffled the cards. I am asking, what is the message that you need to hear and the lesson you need to learn for the Jupiter retrograde? So this is important for this week, but this work will actually stay with you through the end of the year. So kind of keep that in mind, but this will help you know how you need to focus your work with Jupiter for this week in particular. So up first, we will have the sign of Aries. All right, Aries, your Jupiter message is about stop torturing yourself. The Nine of Swords card is basically being in your head too much. It is sharing messages that cause yourself to have a lot of anxiety, and that is most often caused because you're creating things that are not real, and because you are refusing to stop the negative cycle and the negative talk. So that's Jupiter's lesson for you, is to identify those ways where you're creating sabotage, where you're creating anxiety, where you're not allowing yourself to just be present in this moment and do the work. The 9 is the energy of completion, the energy of endings. And so your message from Jupiter is to stop the negativity. And when you do, you'll be amazed at what replaces that energy instead. Remember, Jupiter is a great benefic planet and a teacher, and it wants you to understand how to manage your anxiety, how to not keep circling the drain and going down and down and down and deeper into a make-believe world that is not real. So focus on what is real. Be your strong, dedicated Aries self and go back to finding your confidence. If you're stuck in this anxiety, it means that you're lacking confidence, you're lacking self-worth, and that is not who you are. So let's get back to who you are. I tell everybody to do the Superwoman, or I should say Wonder Woman pose, where you put your hands on your hips and stand tall and stand strong and face head on whatever it is that you're fearful of, because that is the only way you're going to conquer it. This Jupiter retrograde happens in your second house. So this could have something to do with the money you make, because that's what's ruled by the second house. The money you make is very much associated with our self-worth. So if we don't believe we deserve great things or to have a great salary, we will not allow it to happen. So get out of your own way, believe that you are worth every penny, and go after the job and the money that you want. All right. Thank you, and good luck, Aries. Taurus. This is interesting. We have more swords energy. So this is the 7 of Swords, and this is you needing to become more aware of what's going on around you, because you may be ignoring the signs, and there may be people around you that are being deceptive. You could also be deceiving yourself. But the 7 of Swords is a wake-up call, and that is what you want to be paying attention to, right? So those thoughts that you have, because the swords represents our thoughts, it represents the conversations that we have with other people. Those are things that you need to be paying closer attention to. You don't want to be missing connecting the dots between the words people say and then their actions, right? Both have to match, or there's something off and there's something not right. So this is a wake-up call for you. You need to be paying attention to what's going on around you. If you're trying to make a purchase, sign any contracts, go into any kind of agreements with other people, right now you need to slow your roll. You need to look over the details extremely carefully and make sure you don't get yourself into something that you're going to regret later. We are still in Mercury retrograde, so absolutely no going into any kind of contract if you can possibly avoid it. If you have to, make sure, again, you go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Now, you've been doing a lot of work, and right now you'll have Jupiter starting to go retrograde in your first house. So you need to ask yourself, what were these goals that I set for myself when, Mercury first came through here? What was I learning about myself, right? This is your first house, the house of self. How have I been showing up? How have I been showing myself to others? And what do I need to learn? That 7 energy is very introspective. So the only person that has the answers for you right now is you. You need to tune in and listen to your guides. But this is not a time for asking other people for answers. It's a time for seeking them out for yourself. Gemini. Ace of Cups. This is beautiful energy, and somebody who is open to a fresh start where love is concerned. So the Ace of Cups are a gift of love. So you may be receiving a gift of love. And since we're talking about Jupiter, there is this importance of being able to experience love brand new and for the first time, right? Jupiter wants you to be able to love in a way that is not focused on fear. It is not focused on the past. It is something where you're just ready to have this big, bright future where love is concerned, and be open to receiving gifts of love. So you're in for a very interesting week ahead, as long as you trust your gut. When we have Jupiter going through the 12th house, this is the subconscious mind. This is things that are hidden. Now, it could also be something about a large institution that you're a part of. You may have a big growth opportunity that opens up doors to something that you really love. Doesn't have to be a relationship. This Ace of Cups could just in some way open you up to a new start in an area that is going to end up being something that you truly love, and you have through the end of this year to explore what that is. But whatever it is, it's brand new. Whatever it is, it's coming up to the surface to be shown to you now. And that one energy means new beginning, fresh start. So Jupiter is saying, if you want a fresh start, follow your heart, pursue what you love, and let it in. Cancer. The Three of Swords means that you have unfortunately experienced some heartache, and it is very painful. And for that, I am sorry for those of you that are going through this. This bright side, if you can call it that, of the Three of Swords is a reminder that even though we are in pain, we will heal. And that is what Jupiter will be here to help and support you do. It's not expanding and making the pain bigger unless you want to dig in and stay stuck there. Jupiter wants to help you heal, and it will help you heal in a big way. And potentially this wound may help you heal in ways that you just didn't even imagine were possible. So it's never fun. It's never enjoyable when we're sad, when we're hurt, and when we're in pain. But Jupiter wants you to be hopeful. That 3 energy can connect us with the divine. You know, this is the energy of creation, the energy of the creator, or your creativity. And so if you are feeling down, if you are feeling in pain, channel that into something that you can create out of the pain instead of creating more pain. That is not a lesson that Jupiter wants for you. Jupiter wants you to heal. And so be open to that healing. You may want to involve your friends because of the fact that the Jupiter retrograde happens in your 11th house, which is helping you to reconnect to your friends, to your networking groups. There's something about your group of friends that maybe you've made new ones when Mercury came through here. Now Jupiter's going to deepen the relationship in some way. You also could have a mentor that you work with that's going to help you heal from the pain. So my heartfelt sympathy to you Cancers who are struggling with something. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. Leo, you get the first of our major arcana cards, and it is the Chariot. The Chariot is about forward movement. It is about taking the reins, making a decision, and then following and pursuing that. And you're in charge of your success. So this is good news, especially when you have Jupiter helping to guide your Chariot. So you truly want to take the higher road here. Whatever situation you're facing right now, you want to choose the higher road. And because it's that 7 energy, that internalized energy, you want to go within to decide, you know, where that higher road is for you. But you definitely want to be taking that path. Anytime we have a major arcana card that says that the work is more intense, it's more serious, but this is a very positive energy for you as long as you don't stay stuck. You have to choose, and then you have to get moving. This for you happens in your 10th house. So this could be about your career. You could be physically relocating for your career, or you could get a job offer that is going to require you to move. So be open, be ready, trust that you're being guided to go somewhere that matters, somewhere where you're going to make a difference, and somewhere where you'll end up being very successful. So this is a good, great, I would say, card for you to get this week, and to know that you're moving forward with Jupiter through the end of the year and going to go through a big growth opportunity. So hop in and get ready for a ride. Virgo. Virgos. This card, 2 of Cups, is a card where you are potentially meeting and engaging in a soulmate relationship, which for many of you Virgos who have had Neptune working in your 7th house of serious relationships, it is so difficult. It's so foggy and confusing. But what this says now, with the fact that you have Jupiter blessing you in a relationship in some way, that's great news. The 2s bring balance. The Cups are emotion. So this person may help bring emotional balance into your life. Now, not everybody's looking for a love, so this could be a best friend. It's whatever the relationship is, it is fated, it is meant to be, and it looks like you have work to do together at least through the end of the year. Now, this happens in your 9th house of growth and expansion, which is what Jupiter rules. So this is an opportunity for this relationship to truly help you grow in your ability to express and to share your feelings with a significant other. Exciting. Libra. You air signs really like to have your swords cards. So Page of Swords, though, is a fresh idea. It is inspiration. It is an aha moment. It is a 1 energy, right? So this is something new information that comes your way. It could come in a way of the mail, the internet. It could very well be a conversation with somebody new, somebody young, somebody youthful, but that's great news, right? You have this new opportunity that will show up for you that you really get to dive deep into and explore for the next several months with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter for you is going to be traveling through your 8th house. 8th house is about death and transformation. It is about the money that you receive from other people. It's the value that we get from other people if it's not actual monetary value. But this is something where you are really going to explore, if you have a serious relationship already, you know, what true intimacy means. How do we speak to one another, right? That could be very well what this Page of Swords card has you working on. So whatever this idea is, don't poo-poo it, don't ignore it. Make sure you follow it through, jot it down, even if it just comes in quick and fast and it just doesn't seem like it is relatable. It will be. And Jupiter's going to help you take whatever this idea is and expand upon it. So let's say you're working on some kind of an investment and you need the money for it, the funding. That is something else associated with the 8th house, and Jupiter is going to help you get the money that you need to accomplish whatever this new idea is. Scorpios. You have the Two of Wands. So you have a choice to make this week, a little bit like that card we had earlier of the Chariot, where you have a road to choose. Which one will you choose? The Wands are something to choose that you have great passion about. And it really doesn't matter which road you take. They're both things that you feel passionate about. But you do need to choose one so that your growth journey can begin. So listen to how you feel when you imagine choosing one or the other. That is a really good test, because how you respond emotionally to it is a good indication of which one you want. It's a good time for doing muscle memory, where you can, there's so many to do, so Google it, but you can literally stand up, put your hand over your heart, envision the two decisions one at a time, and the one that you lean into is the one that's meant for you. The one that you fall away from is likely not. So give that a try and let me know in the comments how that works. But balance, right? Two always wants balance. There can be an exchange of ideas, exchange of information about your idea, but whatever it is, you've got to have balanced emotions in order to make the right decision going forward. So this happens in your 7th house of serious relationships. So you may be deciding, is this person the person for me? Do I want to commit? Am I going to go long term? Am I going to enter into a relationship and just explore it through the end of the year before I make up my mind? Or do I have two people I need to choose from? Go Scorpio. Or is this about business, right? Do I have an opportunity to choose between two different people to go into business with? Whatever this decision is, it definitely involves somebody else because it's 7th house, and you want to make sure you make the choice that you feel most passionate about. Sagittarius. Whoop. Dropping the cards. All right, Saggies, you have the Judgment card. And again, we have that 2 energy of balance. This is the moment where all the work that you've been doing, as I have mentioned several times now, with that Mercury energy from last April, there's a moment now where some of that is being judged, right? Good or bad karma, what have you been creating since then? And I'm sure it's great because you are on this channel listening to me, and I am always supporting your growing journey. So this is a moment where you may see some kind of a payout for the work that you've done, but you need to be reminded that there is still more work to do, and Jupiter is going to help you continue to do whatever that is. So whatever this first level judgment is about the work that you've done to this point, know that there's still more work to do. So hey, if it isn't the answer that you want, if you're not where you need to be yet, know that you've got Jupiter here guiding you to help you through the rest of the year. Now, this could be related to work because this is in your 6th house, which rules the work we do, the things we do on a day-to-day basis. It's our health. There's opportunity for you to grow in some way that impacts you on a daily basis. So you've got a great guardian in your corner. This is almost the end of your journey, but not quite. That's coming at the end of the year. But the Judgment card is here to tell you this is important, this matters, and you want to make sure you show up and work with Jupiter through the rest of the year to complete your quest, whatever that is for you. Capricorns. Earth sign with some earth energy. She's even holding the symbol of Capricorn in her little hands here. You are the Queen of Pentacles. Successful. That's what this card is about. Grounded, successful, hardworking. Saturn, your ruler, is watching over you and guiding you on the best choices to make as far as your finances are concerned. So there's financial rewards on the line for you with this journey that you have been on. Now, this is happening in your 5th house. This is about things that speak to the heart, that you're truly passionate about. And you could be pursuing something related to your children. This could be something related to a lover. It could be a hobby that you're thinking and maybe started thinking about it back in April with Mercury that said, hey, there's something you could do with your hobby that actually could generate some income for you. Now, this would be new. You haven't started this yet because the Queen's energy is the energy of 1. So there is some information this week, some financial opportunity. Maybe the Queen of Pentacles, if not you, has a conversation with you this week as a mentor, Jupiter, to introduce you to this new money-making idea. And it's something that you'll be really passionate and excited about. So make sure you drop a note and tell me what that is. Aquarius. The 4 of Pentacles card usually shows up when you're being a little too guarded as far as your finances go. And I also see this show up when, if it's not financially related, where you're, coming from a place of lack, you are physically blocking yourself off from other people. Like you are too guarded right now. And so there is an opportunity for you to take a look at your actions and what you've been doing and how what you're doing is pushing other people away or pushing financial opportunities away. When we approach money from a place of fear or lack, then we create more of that, which is exactly the opposite of what you're trying to do. So start small. If you've been feeling too greedy, too stingy, too selfish where your money is concerned, start taking some baby steps and start giving some of your money away. Even if it's just a little change at the grocery counter, making a donation of $1, but stop being so tight-fisted where finances are concerned. The 4 says, hey, you don't have to be this way if we get grounded, if we have a good financial base to work from. So you can work with the Jupiter energy to help build out a good budget, a good savings plan, put all of your financial goals down and start working on them. And then of course with Jupiter's energy, it's going to help you grow financially so that you don't have anything to fear. For you, this also happens in your 4th house. So we've got that number 4 repeating. And the 4 energy is about having your angels are protecting you, right? When that 444 message is a number of the angels, the archangels in particular, are around you and surrounding you and protecting you. So you really don't have anything to fear. And it could have something to do with fears that you've adopted from family. Fourth house is home, family. It's our ancestors. So if you have some limiting beliefs as far as your finances go, that's what you want to work on with Jupiter through the rest of the year, is erasing those. Now, the other thing that Jupiter can be doing with you in your fourth house is expanding where you live, causing you to move, adding people to your house, adding on to your house. In some way, you're working on expanding your home and family through the rest of the year, and it's going to take some money to make that happen. So be open, and the opportunities to be supported financially will just show up for you, and you'll have nothing to worry about. And our final card of the day, I love this card, is the Nine of Cups, which is something to toast to, right? So congratulations, Pisces. Something that you've been dreaming about is coming true this week. And what Jupiter will help you do is take whatever this wonderful, good energy is and expand on it. So this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Whatever you've wished for is opening up a much bigger door than you even realized or even thought you could wish for. It should be an amazing week and a very interesting rest of the year, and I totally want to hear about whatever that is. Now, my only caveat to this is don't overindulge, right? Because Jupiter can expand on it and things can be ooey good that you do too much. But that 9 energy, that's a conclusion. That is something that's being completed. So I do expect for the majority of you to have a really amazing good time with what is being presented for you. And again, tell me what it is, because I want to celebrate with you. All right. Interesting cards as usual. It's always as much fun for me as I hope it is for you to see who's getting what. That's coming up in the week ahead. So just a reminder, if you want help working with this energy, you guys know where to find me. If you want to get it on the calendar and start thinking about what you're feeling is shifting as far as this eclipse energy goes, and now's a really great time to do that. My time will be limited with a number of people that I can help, so be sure to sign up. And if you want help sooner but much more affordable, join my Sippin' Stars group. It's 1111. And of course, I picked that number for a reason, because it's magical manifesting number, and that's what we do together once a month. I will help you create your new moon wishes. So we are meeting this next time on the 9th, which is next Saturday morning. So come join us and experience the fun of collaboration, which is what we are all having fun doing there. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making comments. It's what helps get my videos viewed. If nobody ever makes comments, it just sits there. And I know my channel is small, but I'd like it to be small and mighty and help as many people as I can. And you help me get my messages out there. So thank you to each and every one of you that provides me with feedback. You help me improve on a day-to-day basis, and I appreciate you. All right. We will talk again next week, everybody, and I look forward to it. Take care.